like to think that when we're finished, you will never, ever, ever go on a diet again, because it's not just a matter of dieting, because if you do, you're going to have to diet again. What happens is we actually teach you how to change your lifestyle, that you never have to do it again. You turn off the fat switch, okay? As a people, as a country, we're eating more and we're getting less nutrition. Just the way the food is grown and harvested and processed and transported and cooked and what have you. You go to McDonald's and you get a Big Mac and burger and fries and all of that stuff, okay? There's no nutrition in it. Bloomberg's trying to get rid of the supersize whatever. I think that's a good idea. I don't know whether that needs to be legislated, but all of the above is really bad for you, okay? We are toxic, we're all stressed, and we have no nourishment. Believe it or not, we are the great United States of America, and we are 37th in the world in overall health parameters, okay? And 38th in life expectancy. And by the way, that's millions. 130 million people in this country suffer from chronic diseases. And guess what? Most of them are preventable. 65% of Americans are overweight, and obesity is directly related to more than 300,000 deaths a year at a cost of almost $3 trillion. And the projection is that by the year 2060, the entire gross domestic product in this country will be needed to combat the obesity epidemic. And it's all because of our lifestyle. We're digging our graves. We are absolutely digging our graves with our knives and forks, okay? Now, as Megan said, I'm actually allopathically trained. I mean, I'm trained in internal medicine and OBGYN at Columbia University and Cornell, you know, and worked at Cornell for 35 years. About 14 years ago, I was presenting at a medical conference in Atlanta, and I didn't feel well before I left, but I was so busy taking care of everybody else that I was not taking care of me. And I woke up one morning with a Mack truck sitting on my head, literally 10 tons of steel. I couldn't get out of the bed, okay? Now, before I went to Atlanta, I knew something was wrong. I didn't feel right, but I didn't do anything about it. I had gained 50 pounds. I knew something was wrong. Cut a long story short, my blood pressure when the paramedics came was 255 over 146. I spent 24 hours in the intensive care unit, a week in the hospital, and that's when I came back to New York and said, you know what? What we do as allopathically trained physicians is totally ridiculous. Because, as Megan said before, we wait for something to break and then we try to fix it. Which makes no sense, okay? Now, runs in the family, my 27-year-old, go back. My 27-year-old, which is in the white t-shirt, 6'6", and 300 pounds, okay? That's him, 100 pounds later.
Oh, wow.
Okay? 100 pounds later, that's him. All right? So can it be done? I'm sorry?
What period?
9 months. 9 months. Okay? Can it be done? Yes. All right? The only way it's going to be done, however, is if we, everybody here, decides to take back control of their body and take control of their health. All right? Any of those apply? Any of it sounds familiar? Next. How do we look? That one or that one? Next. Our program here at Patients Medical, with our program, you can safely, and I want to say that word again, safely, lose 20 to 35 pounds in 30 to 40 days. Supervised by a physician with no meals to purchase, eating real food, okay? And then, when you have finished losing the weight, we teach you how to transition so that you never gain it again. And there are no side effects. Now, what is it protects the body. It actually protects the baby. I don't know if anybody here has ever known anyone to be pregnant and vomit the whole pregnancy and come down to that and then have a 9-pound baby. That's because of HCG. Because what the HCG actually does is it takes the fat out of the person and gives it, it's sparing, it's fat sparing, it takes it out of the person, gives it to the baby, okay? And it's used as we do in weight loss with a very low calorie diet. But you're not even hungry. You have to make myself eat. It's like, oh, I gotta eat. You don't feel like eating, okay? It cuts your appetite, you do not feel like eating, and you get the nutrition you need because it's already in your body, so it's taking it out of it. Okay, now where did it come from? There's a book called Pounds and Inches, A New Approach to Obesity, which goes back to the 1950s, and this Dr. Simeons is the person who actually found out that this worked in that way, okay? It curbs the appetite, it retains lean muscle, and it sheds fat. Now, there are several ways you can take it. Anybody here like sticking themselves every day? I don't think so. Well, injections work. We used to think it worked better than the pellets or the drops. It really doesn't. Okay, I've had people lose just as much with the sublingual pellets or the sublingual drops as with the injections. Okay, but you want to stick yourself, that's fine. We'll give you injections too, if that's what you want. Okay, now who is eligible for this diet plan? Anyone who needs to lose 15 pounds or more. Anybody who needs to lose 15 pounds or more can do this, okay? And number 3, people with weight-related health problems. It's specifically important because of the fact that so much disease is linked to obesity. Metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypertension, strokes, heart attacks, I mean, keep going. You know, all of this stuff, all right, is linked to obesity. So it really is important for us to take over, take charge, and take back our lives. And one of the best ways to do that is to lose the weight. All right? Now, who does it benefit? 95% of cancers come from environmental factors, foods and toxins. Okay? So as we retrain our body how to use fat, I don't know if you know, but fat is what holds the toxins in the body. So when you get rid of the fat, you're automatically going to be less toxic. Children, people with psychiatric concerns, and people with eating disorders are basically the only people that I would not put on this diet. All right? To automatically give an appetite suppressant at the beginning for 3 or 4 or 5 days. I don't even do that anymore because most people don't get hungry. Every now and then somebody will call and say, I'm hungry, and we will adjust it or whatever, but in general, people just don't get hungry. Now, how is this diet different from other diets? Everybody here has been on something before. How is this different? It is different because of the fact that it teaches your body to use fat differently. Okay? Face, how does that sound? One Big Mac is about 700 calories. Okay? One large French fries is about 300. 500 calories, believe it or not, it's a lot of food. It's more than enough food when it comes down to it. I try to tell people not to eat breakfast because there is also something with this, with the intermittent fasting modality, okay? So if you eat last at 7 and then you can go through and not eat breakfast, you'll lose even more weight, okay? But in the 500 calories, we can actually get 2 fruits, lunch, and dinner. Lots of water, as I said, and it's in a specific time period, you know, and specific fruits. I mean, for example, we try to get you to limit it to apples and oranges and stuff that doesn't have that much sugar or that are not starchy, like vegetables like pumpkin and squash and beets with the sugar and carrots and that type of thing are not allowed on the diet. The other thing is, we also, for example, fish. You can eat white fish, but you can't eat pink or brown fish. In other words, you can't eat tuna or salmon, but you can eat bass or cod or flounder. Okay, again, because of the amount of fat in salmon versus the amount of fat in flounder. Okay, so everything is very, very, very specific, all right? And I have people who come in and say, oh, I'm tired, can I try this? No, you spent your money, you might as well, you're not gonna die. 4 to 6 weeks. You can do the same thing for 4 weeks, can't you? I mean,
and then you can go back to eat salmon.
Oh yeah, absolutely, you will go back to it, but we add everything back in a regimen, this first, and then that, and then that, but by that time we've retrained your body. Because the other thing, which I didn't say, is that what the HCG actually does, when you have finished the program, you have reset. And that's why people don't gain the weight back. Because what happens with most diets, you go back to eating the same thing and you just put it back on. With the HCG, you actually reset your satiety center. You actually reset the area in your brain that controls that stuff. Okay? And because of that, most people don't gain it back. I mean, if you really do it right, you don't gain it back. Next. Okay? I went over, okay? And it really, really works. It really works. 500 calories, that's it. After the period, whether it's 30 or 40 days, and that is also determined by how much weight you have to lose and other factors, which will be determined when we do the consultation, okay? You then go to 3 weeks. The 3 weeks right after, there is no HCG, but you basically stay on the same diet. Now, you eat more than 500 calories, but you're basically on the same diet. The next 3 weeks, there's still no HCG, but you can now start adding back some of the things. And again, as I said, it's done in a specific manner. Okay, next. That's loading, the first day. Can I tell you something? Do you know how many people come in and say, I tried, I really couldn't eat that much, or try to load, and it's like, Dr. Harris, I didn't gain any weight. I'm like, well, load a third day. I mean, you really do have to get the HCG working in the body so that you can trick the cells. Next, okay? Breakfast, tea or coffee, unlimited, no sugar, no milk, okay? Lunch, 100 grams of approved low-fat protein, that's 4 to 6 ounces. And if you notice, like those grilled chicken breasts and those flounder thingies and stuff in all the delis, they are all 4 to 6 ounces. They literally are like 5 ounces, okay? So it's easy. And you go to the store and you tell them, this is what I want, and you make it in 6-ounce pieces, 5-ounce pieces, okay? They stick the breadstick and the Melba toast in there because they really figure, you know, some people need just the taste or whatever, I usually tell people leave it out. It doesn't do anything for you, and it's not critical. And then one approved fruit, same choice as lunch. Now, in between, you can snack, you can have one fruit here and one fruit here. I don't tell people to have the fruit, I don't tell people to have the fruit with the lunch. Because if you think about it, you get up, you eat breakfast, you drink your tea, you drink your coffee, and then about 10:30, 11, you eat an apple, okay? Then you have lunch at 1, and then at 3, you eat another apple or you eat an orange, then at 6 or 7, you have dinner, okay? And that's it. But as I said, you're not hungry. All right? Have oil. They're oil-based, mineral oil or whatever, but they're oil-based. What you put on your skin goes directly into your bloodstream. All right? So you really have to be careful. When you're on HCG, you will not lose as much weight if you're not careful what you put on your skin. Now there are oil-free, paraben-free, etc., lotions and potions out there, okay? So we can find stuff, but there are things that you really have to stay away from.